Building a side project as a software engineer can be so hard, but it is really important to build side projects if you want to improve as a software engineer. In this video, I am going to share with you 3 tips that will help you start build your own side projects. Meanwhile, I'm also building a side project where I am trying to build a blogging library with Nest.js. I'll also try and share the accomplishments that I've made with this blogging library and the problems I faced and how I solve it. By the way, this is a vlog, so let's get started.
Hey, cut off the lights. Yeah, cut off the lights. Yeah, I perform better at night. I've been outside with the mice. Yeah, eating that chicken and rice. Right, while it was filled with the mites. Okay, now it's an infinite price. If they wasn't living your life, then they shouldn't give you advice. How can we honor your words? Yeah, if we see you missing your stripes, we get it. You've been in the game for a minute.
The first feature that I worked on was the insert admonition feature. Basically, with the insert admonition, it is a way to let the users create something or type something inside the article that will stand out to the user. So probably it can be a tip, it can be danger, or any other thing that you want to highlight to the user. Now, this brings me to my first point on why you need to build projects. You see, building projects will help you learn faster. Yes, we can watch videos, we can read documentations, right? But watching a video or watching a tutorial is not akin to building projects on your own. Why am I saying that? Imagine this scenario: you are watching a video or you are watching a tutorial, right? But for that tutorial, the person who is teaching the tutorial is essentially spoon feeding you. There is no way that that person will get an error and include that error in the tutorial that you are watching. All the errors that he got will be cut out from the video. That is why it is important to build projects. There is a saying that we learn by making mistakes. So if you want to learn faster and want to learn better, try and build out side projects on your own. And when you make mistakes in those side projects, that is when you will assimilate and learn faster. Now, this brings me to the second feature that I worked on. Basically, if you want to interact with GitHub's API, right, there are a couple of ways that we can do that. And one way is by creating a GitHub application. And as you see, that is what I exactly did. First, I created a GitHub application and used Octokit, GitHub's own library, to access the GitHub repo where I want to put my articles. And that made me write and read articles or markdown files directly from GitHub.
I ain't afraid of the dark, 'cause once you let the light in, you won't see the beautiful stars shining down from afar.
Now, this brings me to the second thing why we need to build projects as a software engineer. So basically, as a software engineer working in a company, right, the company has a set of tools. If you're a backend engineer, you are definitely going to use either .NET or Java if you are inside the company, right? And you cannot use any library or any framework that the company has not approved of. But if you try and build personal projects, you are going to broaden your knowledge, you are going to expand your scope, you are going to know more things outside of the things that the company is allowing you to do. For instance, when HTMS came out, HTMS was championing the idea of a thing we call locality of behavior, or a concept we call locality of behavior. Meanwhile, we all knew that in our day jobs, we were championing the ideas of dry or do not repeat yourself or separation of concerns. But because HTMS came, if you tried it out, you could have seen that it also gave you new ideas and new ways of doing things. So when you try and build personal projects, right, you are going to broaden your scope and you are going to learn a lot more than when you are just fixed on doing the work that your company or probably freelancing gives you. So the next thing that I did for my Next.js blogging library was to basically fix a performance issue. This was not a feature, but rather the performance issue was that when there is a lot of tests, because we are using a use state to store the MDS data or the MDS state, it re-renders the whole component and each and every toolbar or toolbar button, right? So I tried and removed the use state or the storing of the data inside the use state and rather used what we call the useref hook to reference the markdown editor. Now, after referencing the markdown editor, I used the ref.current.value to get the value of the markdown editor. And this really helped me because when I typed, after doing these changes, every time I typed, the whole component did not re-render. It was working flawlessly. So I also know that we are all in a tough job market. Now this brings me to my third point, standing out. So if you want to stand out as a developer in a tough job market, right, one thing that you could do to stand out is by creating more side projects or is by building side projects. You see, if you are competing against people who have menial side projects or little to no side projects to show, it is easier for you to get ahead in the competition. So first of all, it helps when you are looking for a job. Now, secondly, imagine you have a job. Right now, the more side projects you build, the more you know. This means that you are the likely person that people are going to bring their problems to. Because basically, it will be like you've tried a lot of things, a lot of libraries, a lot of frameworks, because you love building things. So I will encourage each and every one of us to start building a side project. Yes, at first it may be hard, but the more you build, the more you know. I hope you enjoyed this wonderful video. I do videos every week documenting the process I take to build my own personal side projects. So please, I will be very much happy if you can subscribe to this channel and turn on the notifications so that you won't miss the video next week. See you again. Goodbye guys and happy coding.
I don't say a lot. I just walk, so I'm moving loud. Really keep it low key, I don't like crowds. Really keep it OG, I don't like clowns. Really keep it just me, I'm the best out. I don't try to keep up, I don't stress out. I don't cash no checks cause the checks bounce.